Howard Meets Hercules. For all of you Howard Waldrop fans out there, if you enjoyed our short films, the adaptation of Mary Margaret Road Grader, Night of the Cooters, and The Ugly Chickens that we've been showing at film festivals for the past couple of years, we have big news coming. Waldrop feature on the way, all animated. I know. Some of you will just be pissed off by this, as you are by everything I announce here that is not about Westeros or the Winds of Winter. You have given up on me or on the book. I will never finish Winds. If I do, I will finish A Dream of Spring. If I do, it won't be any good. I ought to get some other writer to pinch hit for me. I'm going to die soon anyway because I'm so old. Wait, is this actually his blog? Oh no. I lost all interest in A Song of Ice and Fire decades ago. I don't give a shit about writing any longer. I just sit around and spend my money. I edit the Wildcards books too, but you hate Wildcards. You may hate everything else I've ever written. The Hugo winners and Hugo losers. A Song for Leah and Dying of the Light. Sand Kings and Beauty and the Beast. The Tower of Ashes and Old Mar and all the other... Thing is, I do care about them. And I care about Westeros and Winds as well. The Starks and Lannisters and Targaryens. Tyrion and Asha and Dany and Daenerys. The dragons and the dire wolves. I care about them all more than you can ever imagine. I loved A Dozen Tough Jobs the first time I read it ages ago. I loved Howard too. It saddens me that he did not live long enough to see the film. I hope we do him justice. Again, I literally think that he should just he should hold some kind of fan competition, grab the 10 most talented fanfic writers, like offer them an all expense paid, like 3-month trip to the fucking Amazon and get like in a cabin with some books and like dedicates like, we're going to write this shit. We're going to do it. It's telling that GRRM actually made progress during COVID-19 when he wasn't able to live out his end-life crisis. Damn. Is Game of Thrones really that good? I've never watched or read, but this obsession people have is a bit crazy, no? This is what I will say. I don't know. No, I do. I don't like swords and kings and queens and shit. Like that whole time period, I've just never liked that. I'm way more of a sci-fi person. I don't like high fantasy or whatever. I have zero interest in it whatsoever. That's why it took me so fucking long to even watch it. And then when I started watching it, I think I binged the first 4 seasons almost instantaneously. And it was easily... I don't know if I can say this. I might say this. This might be one of the edgiest statements I've ever made in my entire life. The first 4 seasons of Game of Thrones on TV maybe are better than The Wire. It's unmatched. It's so good. The first 4 seasons of Game of Thrones are just peak Kino. And it's just like everything is very good about that show. The story is good. The characters are all very well written. The writing is very good. The performances are all, I think, almost every performance is very good. It's just a very, very, very good. Like, you can compare later Game of Thrones to earlier Game of Thrones. Like in later Game of Thrones, it feels like a normal TV show where there's like one plot line you care about, and then every time it switches to another set of characters, like, bro, I don't give a fuck about this. Like, oh, another scene of Jaime being obsessed with his sister, or oh, another scene with Sam and Gilly. Oh boy, or oh, like just show me more of like these 2 lines that I care about. But like in the first 4 seasons of Game of Thrones, like any cut to anything having to do with Ned Stark is like hell yeah. Any cut with anything having to do with Tyrion is like hell yeah. Any scene with Tywin is amazing. Any scene with Robert is amazing. Cersei and Joffrey are like hateable. Cersei is a bit you feel pity for her in season 1, I would say. It's just sorry, okay, I'm done. Don't get me on this. Bro said Robert. Isn't he Robert Baratheon? Bobby? The Littlefinger scenes are all good. Yeah. The only weak point in the first 4 seasons, was anything having to do with Daenerys. But like you can have one weak point, whatever, you know. You need to watch the newest The Rehearsal season. It's the best television. Yeah, I've heard really good things about The Rehearsal. Yeah. Similarly, weak point in The Wire. I don't think there's any weak point in The Wire. I think season 2 is great. People like season 2 is like the least positively reviewed. I thought season 2 was totally fine. Breaking Bad mogs The Wire. I've said this before, but Breaking Bad has some very bad seasons. I think the Gus arc for Breaking Bad like is so much better than the rest of that show. I think it's actually problematic for the show. Like there's a whole bunch of shit that happens in Breaking Bad I don't give a fuck about. Like I think almost everything having to do with him in the car wash, and just like there's like a lot of there's like I think there's like one or two like just very weak seasons that are like meh. The greatest character introductions in TV history.
If another house can seize one of our own and hold him captive with impunity, we are
Was this the first time we saw Tywin? Really?
no longer a house to be feared.
This is Tywin Lannister, probably the most powerful man in Westeros, and he's about to deliver one of the greatest character introductions in television history. When I say this, I'm not exaggerating. This scene is effortlessly brilliant, because in just a few minutes, we get a masterclass in character development that shows us exactly who Tywin Lannister is. There's no grand entrance or unnecessary exposition, just a man butchering a stag while lecturing his son about power. And somehow, that tells us everything we need to know.
God, the dialogue in this show is so good for the first few seasons. Oh my God.
And the funny thing is, just like the other scenes I've analyzed earlier, this one isn't in the books either. It was originally written by David Benioff and D.B. Weiss.
Yeah, I've said this a lot. People say these guys are shitty writers or when they ran out of book material, they couldn't do anything. That is not true. These guys write very, very, very well. A lot of the best conversations that were in Game of Thrones were written by these two guys. I think almost all of the intimate conversations between Robert Baratheon and Cersei, where it was original material written by these guys. They're good writers when they care. When they're not being brought on from some stupid Star Wars show.
Now I know what you're thinking, and no, I'm not secretly being...
They also wrote the Arya and Tywin scenes. Is that true? Because those were good scenes as well. When he asks her, what killed your father? Ooh. And when she said, fuck, there are actually so many banger quotes by her. Do you believe that Robb Stark can never be killed? And she's like, no, my lord, any man can be killed. Oh.
When he wants. They say he can't be killed.
Do you believe them?
No, my lord. Anyone can be killed.
Fetch that water.
There's so many good... All the dialogue between these two was awesome. But it's not... Every scene with Arya in it and every scene with Tywin in it was good. All of the scenes with Arya and the Hound... I'm gonna eat every fucking chicken in this place. Oh my God. Okay, sorry.
Paid to fix their
My bad. Hold on.
reputation.
I'm TikToking.
But let's be honest, when they got it right, they really got it right. And this scene is one of those times they absolutely nailed it. So what makes this scene so great? What makes it one of the greatest character introductions in television history? I mean, of course, I'll talk about all of these things in detail, but first we need some context. By this point in the story, Starks and Lannisters are basically at each other's throats, because Catelyn Stark has kidnapped Tyrion, and everyone knows this is pretty much a declaration of war. And even though Tywin couldn't care less about Tyrion, he can't just let something like that slide. So he gathers his forces. Meanwhile, Jaime being Jaime and attacks Ned Stark. So right in the middle of all this chaos, we get this scene. Tywin and Jaime in a war tent, where Tywin is calmly skinning a deer while absolutely tearing his son apart. And speaking of which, that stag Charles Dance's skinning was real.
And they said, you ever butchered a deer before? I said, no.
They brought in a deer that had already died, and Charles Dance learned how to skin it on the very day they were filming. I mean, it's mind-blowing that an actor could pick up such a complex skill on the spot while still delivering such a commanding, unforgettable performance. Just look at him. Even the way he handles the knife is so precise, so natural, that it makes Tywin feel terrifyingly real. From the moment he appears on screen, you instantly get that he's not just a father lecturing his son. He's someone who's completely in control of everything around him. Every move, every word coming out of his mouth has a purpose, just as you would expect from Tywin's character.
True.
On the other hand, the scene also shows us Jaime in a completely different light. This is the first time we get a glimpse of his vulnerable side. Up until now, the show portrayed him as this confident, unstoppable warrior, the famous Lion of Lannister. But watching this scene makes you realize that Lannister Lion was never Jaime at all. It was Tywin.
Poor Ned Stark. Brave man, terrible judgment.
If you take a closer look at this moment, you can actually see the first signs of doubt creeping into Jaime's face. Look at him right after he says that line. The smirk he gives his father is full of expectation. It's subtle, but it says a lot. This moment is actually a reflection of everything Jaime feels about Ned Stark. As we find out later in the show, Jaime's been holding a grudge against Ned for years, resenting him for seeing him as a man without honor and passing a harsh judgment on him. So here, Jaime is kind of throwing out a bait to his father, hoping for some validation, hoping that his father will back him up. But Tywin doesn't give him what he's looking for. You can literally see Jaime's expression changing when it happens. Instead of criticizing Ned, he turns the tables completely on his own son.
Attacking him was stupid.
Now this is the moment where Tywin truly starts playing his game. Just as I said, everything he says here has a
Wasn't there some drama in the commentary committee over these AI channels? Wait, is this an AI channel?
purpose. The whole point of this speech is to break Jaime down so he can rebuild him into the man he thinks he should be. He knows Jaime inside and out. He knows his insecurities, his weaknesses. So he starts by making him feel stupid and then reminds him that Lannisters don't act like fools. Jaime's probably used to this by now. You can actually tell it from the look on his face. But what's really interesting is that if you are a careful viewer, you would know that this dynamic between them was already set up way back in the very first episode.
There was nothing to be afraid of until you told Father. Lannisters don't act like fools.
Lannisters don't act like fools.
Ooh.
But even though Jaime
Wait.
knows about this, he still tries to explain
Wrong one. Fuck, sorry.
Go on, say something clever.
Catelyn Stark was my brother.
Not like
Why
that.
is he still alive?
Tyrion?
Ned Stark.
One of our men interfered. Speared him through the leg before I could finish him.
Why is he still alive?
Now, there's a lot to unpack here. First of all, Tywin asking why is he still alive feels a bit random and doesn't exactly flow with the conversation. Jaime's obviously confused by it, but if you know Tywin from the books, it actually makes perfect sense.
What? Is that true? I feel like the question makes a lot of sense. I think what Tyrion or Tywin is saying is that, like, listen, if you're gonna fucking attack him, then fucking kill him. But Jaime is on some like, oh, I wanted an honorable duel fight to prove how good I am as a warrior and to not let him talk so much shit about me. And he was more concerned with that than actually just like doing a thing, no?
Because in the books, one of the first things we learn about Tywin is that he doesn't believe in half measures. And from Tywin's perspective, attacking Ned but not finishing him off is exactly that. For Tywin, it's actually pretty simple. If you're going to attack someone, why not kill them? And if you're not going to kill them, why bother attacking in the first place?
True.
This is actually a perfect example of how Tywin Lannister operates. Practical, direct, and ruthless. But of course, that doesn't mean Tywin expects Jaime to kill Ned. What he's really doing here is challenging Jaime's way of thinking and poking at his sense of honor, which Tywin clearly has no respect for. It's all about getting Jaime to reveal what's really going on inside his head, so Tywin can use it against him. Jaime isn't falling for it, at least not at first. Maybe he's just used to his father's tricks, or maybe he knows Tywin will just mock him if he opens up. Either way, Jaime doesn't give him the truth.
Am I
That's
supposed to be
why
able to hear
Tywin
people on my
repeats the
phone?
question, because
How do people do this? Oh, I can't have the guns in the background at all, right?
he's not satisfied with the first response. And eventually Jaime cracks.
It wouldn't have been clean.
You spend too much time worrying about what other people think of you.
True.
I could care less what anyone thinks of me.
Now this moment is really important because this is the first time we see Jaime for who he is. A man stuck between wanting to be honorable and hiding behind the Kingslayer name as his shield, and the reason he doesn't kill Ned is actually buried somewhere in this dilemma. We all know that Ned Stark is one of the most honorable men in Westeros, so killing him like that would not only ruin whatever reputation Jaime has left, but more importantly, it would confirm everything Ned thinks about him. And Tywin sees right through all of it.
You know, that's what you want people to think of you.
It's the truth.
I mean, think about it. This is season 1, episode 7. At this point, we barely know anything about Jaime, and he's still a bit of a mystery. But Tywin's insight into him is almost like a preview of everything we'll eventually learn about him. He even notices things that Jaime wouldn't admit to himself. And when he asks that follow-up question, everything suddenly makes sense.
When you hear them whispering Kingslayer behind your back, doesn't it bother you?
It does.
Of course, it bothers me.
Ooh.
The thing is, This is not really a question. Tywin's not asking this out of curiosity. He wants to push Jaime towards a realization. He already knows what Jaime's gonna say, but he asks anyway, just to hit him with that crucial lesson.
A lion doesn't.
There's so many good memes for that.
Fucking.
What is this?
You tag me in every dumb fucking post you make. Wait, are you even photoshopping my... Wait, why are you making this? You're just taking photos from my Instagram and reposting them. Are you actually making my head bigger? Oh, no, wait, I think you are. No, I don't think you are. Wait, are you? Oh, yeah, you are, huh?
It was so stupid.
Why are you making other people's heads fucking smaller? This is so stupid. Okay.